Good morning, YouTube. It's your boy, CamATL, and welcome back to another NFL Showdown video with your boy. In this video, we pretty much break down this Thursday night showdown game between the Jets and the Colts. Now, we have the new best future Hall of Fame, best quarterback of all time, Mike White, on this slate. Super excited about that. That dude came in and looked amazing. I don't see how you give the job back to Zach Wilson now. I mean, especially if he does it again tonight. We'll see what happens. But Mike White looked fantastic. I'm excited for this game. I want to see how he looks in his second game in. Sometimes the first game can be a lot of times these guys can come in and have solid first games and then kind of dwindle as time goes on. So we'll see what happens with Mike White. It was really cool to see him go out there and ball like that, though. I love guys who kind of are slept on, get their opportunity and really shine once they get their chance. So that was awesome. Thank you guys for joining me. Drop a like down below, comment anything in the comment section, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get to this money, baby. All right, so. The NBA High Five video will be after this, by the way, covering Thursday's slate. And I will be live around 3 o'clock Central if you guys want to ask me showdown questions, NBA questions, whatever. I can do both, or maybe I'll choose one to kind of focus on majority of it, but we'll see. But yeah, I will be live around 3 p.m. Central on this channel, so make sure you click the notification bell so it lets you know when I start the live show. If you missed yesterday's, you can kind of get an idea of how it works from yesterday's live show that's on this channel right now. You can kind of click in and see. I pretty much just sit here answering y'all's questions. I don't really talk about what I want to talk about. I pretty much focus on what y'all want to cover. So let's go ahead and get straight into this showdown. First and foremost, game script. All right, let's see. Let's figure out what we think this game is going to go. So I fully back Vegas on this one. I think Colts are probably big favorites here. So with that in mind, that is the game script that I'm leaning towards the heaviest. That is the game script that I'm liking the most. So with that in mind, that means with the Colts being big favorites, that means most likely. And by the way, the Jets are bottom in the league versus running backs. So that makes me really love Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor could be a fantastic captain today. That makes me like Mike White. I really love Michael Carter. Michael Carter is one of the guys on the Jets that I'm really prioritizing today because not only is he going to get the carries, but he got like 14 targets last week in the pass game. So when they're behind, he's going to get those targets, and it's obvious Mike White loves dumping it off to the running back. So this is a fantastic spot for Carter. Carter is going to be definitely highly prioritized. I really love the fact that he's damn near 5K less than Jonathan Taylor. And I don't necessarily think it's going to be a 5K fantasy point difference between these two at the end of the night. So that's a tough decision there. There's multiple ways you can go at captain here. Like I said, the most important thing is to sit back, imagine what you think the game script's going to be, and build off of that. So with that being said, because it is full point PPR, and I'm expecting the Jets to be behind and throwing a lot in this matchup, I really like the savings of Michael Carter. Now, does this mean I'm for sure going this in the fave? Not necessarily. All right, this is just beginning look, kind of gut feel on the slate. Really like the idea of Michael Carter or Jamison Crowder at captain, with it being full point PPR, and both these guys are going to get really heavy targeted. It looks like Michael Carter is really going to be the focal point of this offense, and he's really, really interesting to me at the captain spot. Obviously, if we have plenty of value as the day goes on and you feel more and more comfortable about the value, and I'll touch on the value options that we have. If you feel really, really good about those options, then cool, spend up. Go Jonathan Taylor. That's fine. My highest probably who I believe is going to score the most on this slate is probably Jonathan Taylor. So by the end of the day, if you feel comfortable with the value and you feel safe with the value options that we have, Jonathan Taylor at captain is perfectly fine. Right now in the high five, I'm just going to go a little GPP-ish, and I'm hoping not many people go this route. Michael Carter at captain, really like this spot because they will be behind, and he will get the touches in the red zone. He'll get the ton of targets from Mike White from the out of the backfield, and yeah, it's a solid spot for him. So him or Jamison Crowder at captain. You can even go Mike White there as well. What's the difference in price there? Mike White's 14.7, 12, so almost $2,000 difference there too. I still prefer Michael Carter or Jamison Crowder at captain or Jonathan Taylor. Those are my three options that I'm really leaning right now. All right. At the flex, one guy that I damn sure will have, whether he's captain or not, is Jonathan Taylor. When the Colts are big favorites like this, is extremely important. Fuck, I forgot to put the trash down. I'm gonna get yelled at. Anyways, anyways, Jonathan Taylor at home in a big favored spot here against the Jets. Jets are a bad run defense. It's a fantastic spot for him. Now, when the Colts are big favorites, obviously, what does that say? That means they're going to get a little space and then they're going to run to kill the clock. That's what all teams do. That's the game plan. That's what you're supposed to do. So expect a ton of Jonathan Taylor in this one. It's a fantastic matchup. He is a guy that I am going to be forcing no matter what, whether he's captain or flex. He is a guy that I'll have a ton of, because at the end of the day, Wentz, Pittman, those guys could obviously connect for some touchdowns. They could have huge games, and I love both of them. Don't get me wrong. I love both of them, and if I have the ability to get them, I'll get them. You know what I'm saying? I'm perfectly fine with that. With them being at home, Michael Pittman's been a absolute stud. Wentz is a beast. If I have the value to get them, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I could definitely see a scenario where Jonathan Taylor ends up being a big reason why they're up. But there also is that chance of, you know, Mike White really being that real deal and this game not being as big of a spread as it is. And I'm kind of like, my gut's kind of leaning a little bit more towards this might not be as big of a spread as Vegas predicts. Now, I do think Colts are going to lead this entire game. I do believe that. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be as big of a spread as Vegas has it. I believe they have it like over 10. If Mike White plays the way he did in this first game, it will not be a 10-point spread. Okay. But once again, we're going off one game, y'all. So it is what it is. So after Michael Carter at captains, because of the game script, because he was the number one receiver on this team last week with Mike White at quarterback, these new guys, one saving grace for them is dumping it off short passes, little dump offs to running backs. That's really what they love to do. Jonathan Taylor is the focal point on the Colts. I will have every lineup having Jonathan Taylor. And then now, I'm going to go another guy that I absolutely love him getting involved with, and that's because it's full point PPR and DK. I'm going Michael Pittman Jr. as my other play, and then we're going to talk about the value options to be able to possibly make this kind of thing work. I'm going to talk about the value in just a second, but Michael Pittman Jr. has had a hell of a start to this year, man. Yeah, I mean, he's just been fantastic. He is the guy. Now you've got the T.Y. Hilton back out of that lineup, man. It's just opening up opportunities for Michael Pittman. It's a great matchup here against the Jets. Full point PPR. He's going to get his targets. I mean, if you look at his target share as of right now, I mean, look at this. Last game, he got 15 targets. He is just being targeted so heavily. At home games, as you can see, he's got more targets at home than he does away. It's a solid spot for Michael Pittman here. I really like this situation for him. And because of DK being full point PPR, I'm definitely leaning that way a lot. I really like Pittman a lot. Now, not on Pascal too much, not on Ty Johnson too much. I could see Ty Johnson getting some passes in the pass game though when they're down. So I can see it, but I kind of prefer Elijah Moore there. Corey Davis is out. They're just beat down right now. Receiving core wise, they're beat down. So they do have Jamison Crowder back, so that's going to take away from Elijah Moore. But Elijah Moore is fine. He got like 6+ targets last week, something like that. So he's solid at 6'2". You can consider him with them being down all the way. Jamison Crowder is the number one guy I'd really love. 7'8" seems a little too cheap for a guy who's going to get you about 10 targets here. Him and Michael Carter are the focal points on the Jets side with them playing catch up. Mike White, Crowder, and Carter paired together is a good little stack for the Jets. Those guys are the focal point for the Jets. All right. So let's talk value options. Mo Alley Cox at any moment can catch a touchdown. We all know that. Dude is a big body dude down in the red zone. It's a solid spot for him for sure. Both kickers are in play here. I haven't looked into the weather actually. Let me check and see if there's anything crazy on the weather real quick. Let me brush up on the weather situation really quickly so I can make sure I am aware of that and make sure there's not. Oh, it's a dome. Never mind. Never mind. It's a dome, y'all. So you don't have to worry about that. Both kickers are in play 100%. I like both sides of it. I always prefer the favored team, so I prefer Bagley. So he is the guy I'm preferring here. All right, value. Denzel Mims played the most snaps of any receiver of the Jets last week, which is pretty damn surprising. I was very surprised to see that. So that could in turn turn into something special here if he once again plays the most snaps. But it was a drastic difference between last week and then the week before that. Like, I don't know if last week was just kind of an outlier, or if maybe Denzel Mims and the new quarterback, why am I fucking blanking on him already? Mike White. I keep wanting to say Mike Smith. Mike White. Maybe Mike White and him have kind of a rapport, so they wanted to have Mims out there a little more with that. Not 100% sure why that happened, but Denzel Mims did play the most snaps of any receiver of the Jets last week. And with them trailing at only 2K, I mean, you got to consider that. You have to consider a guy who's playing if he in fact does that again. Now, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if that was an outlier, if maybe Mike White and him have a little rapport that they've, built some chemistry. Um, but we'll see. Keelan Cole Sr. is completely fine as well as a value. I like the cheap Jets receivers as guys that I'm interested in as value today. So Cole Sr., Denzel Mims. I do really love Doolin for the Colts. He's gotten 4 targets the last couple games, 8 targets total the last couple games. And really, if he gets 4 targets again, if he happens to get in the end zone, oh my God, he's beautiful value at 200. If he gets a couple catches out of those 4 targets, then he's good that way too. I'll take really one catch at $200. So Doolin is a value guy that you can use as well. But yeah, I'm prioritizing the value of Doolin, Denzel Mims, Keelan Cole Sr. Barrios caught a touchdown last week. I wouldn't bank on that happening again. So Sr. and Mims are the two guys I'm kind of prioritizing a little higher there. And then we have those are the value. That is the value right there. Like I said, once again, I'll go over it again. The Jets prioritize guys. The guys that I'm prioritizing for the Jets: Michael Carter, Mike White, Jamison Crowder. Those are the priority guys. And then value-wise, if you're looking for value, the value spots which you'll probably want to get is going to be, in which it feels kind of good. I'm not going to lie. Denzel Mims playing the most snaps last week feels good. Keelan Cole Sr. And Doolin are solid values. For those three guys are kind of my value guys I'm interested in. Both kickers are in play. And then, yeah, Michael Carter, Mike White, Jamison Crowder. And then on the Colts side, Wentz, Pittman, and Taylor. Those are the core guys that I'm really loving today, and you should be able to get you a lot of money tonight, most likely. I would not be surprised if this game. I mean, if Mike White comes out and plays like Mike White did last week, this is going to be a competitive game. There's going to be some good fantasy points piled up. I think that this build really kind of works for no matter how this game script goes. This core. I do have Michael Carter. Like I said earlier, I have Michael Carter at captain because he's the cheaper of all of the bunches at the captain position. I think he's going to be utilized just as much as all these other guys who are priced higher. So I really like Michael Carter at captain, playing catch up most of this game, most likely. If they happen to get up for some odd reason, then he'll also get the carries here. So Michael Carter's got a bright future with the Jets, and I really like this spot for him. And then Jonathan Taylor's locked. All right, don't overthink this. All right, the Colts are in too good of a spot here against a bad run defense in a highly favored game. Jonathan Taylor is a guy that you either lock at captain or lock at flex, but you lock regardless. All right, I don't want my people who listen to me to not play Jonathan Taylor. Okay, now at the end of the day, if you want to yell at me and tell me how bad Jonathan Taylor was after the game is over, and Jonathan Taylor maybe sucks, and you want to tell me how you knew he was gonna suck, then that's fine. I understand. You know what I'm saying? You do that, but before this game starts, right now, as of this moment, Jonathan Taylor is obviously a fantastic play tonight, and you need to try to lock him in. All right. Now I apologize if he doesn't do well, but most likely he will. All right. Let's kill it tonight, y'all. GreenlightDFS.com. Join the squad. And I'm out. Peace.